And do this video every 3 days. Not every 3 days, but every other day. Oh, I look terrible because of something that happened in the spirit realm with me last night. Them people at that Botanica, that 8704 Broadway Botanica I've been talking about. That's why I look like I got punched in my eye and all of that. To make a long story short, I took like 5 iron tablets, which helped you. I learned from a shaman who was ironically under Hike, which I'm supposed to be the successor to, that if you take 5 tablets, not 5 tablets, but if you take iron tablets, that helps to reduce schizophrenia. Really, it helps to reduce what it really does in the spirit plane is, if you're facing a curse like what I'm facing, it pulls back your consciousness and allows you to be able to get your stuff back. And so I took 5 of them, which made me mad fucking tired. I wanted to take the vitamin E, but what it does in the spirit plane is it widens your consciousness, or keeps it at an even keel. And to make a long story short, I saw Santa Worthy right behind me trying to pull me out of my body in my own consciousness. And, to make a long story short, I saw something with a rock. If you have a pebble behind you, something or a rock, that means that you're near death. Usually people have boulders to separate them from the spirit plane, and not a rock. So to make a long story short, Baron Samedi has been protecting me, along with a cherub-faced spirit guide. She's been doing a lot of energy work, spiritual work, to help keep me in my body. And so to make a long story short, I've been fighting her as well as this woman. Again, she's off camera here. For many, many months, her highest self, Maria Tavares, I've been fighting to try to get her out, keep her out of my body, and she's been using Santa Muerte's energy to take me over and to fuck with me and to pull, like I said, I believe that on May the 1st, 2024, something did happen. I did die in my sleep at the hands of an entity that she dispatched on me by the name of Dan Cienega. I was seeing Aztec dead masks, hearing Aztec dead whistles, seeing people with white faces superimposed on them. So something happened. I was told by a spirit guide and a couple of other, spirits that's around, as well as I had dreams that I died in my sleep. And the Dan Cienega entity, from what I understand, cut my throat. And it was dispatched by her, Maria Tavares. From what I understand, for what I saw spiritually, she wants to, cover all my blessings and all of that, going back to that August 22nd, 2022 timeline that I keep talking about, that I went to them for the tarot reading about. And I was actually warned by a friend of mine, as well as by a bunch of spirits, don't go there because people could see what you could have had and want to cover them themselves and want to take you out. And I learned that they actually went after, I think, a young white lady in the past, and they go after black women. And, from what I understand, this woman's highest self don't like black people. And so she went after me with, she saw what I could have had and went after me with great fervor. And it seems like she's trying to alter herself right now. So she's been using Santa Muerte's consciousness across different timelines to try to, I know it sounds crazy, but if you look up the butterfly effect, notice that he was able to jump into and incarnate into different bodies of his, different parallel versions of himself within. And a lot of that takes place within. So, all of this is possible. It's real from what I'm learning with this curse. So anyway, she's been jumping to different timelines, attaching herself to different Santa Muertes, which is trying to take over, completely take over me. And completely take over my consciousness. And so, with that being said, long story short, from what I understand, Santa Muerte is in charge of the Mexican oversoul consciousness. That's why I'm just going to break it down for you right now. When y'all die, you instantly are accepted into heaven because of the situation concerning her, from what I understand, in the spirit plane. As well as the various evil entities, creators that they come from, like Quetzalcoatl and all of that. Quetzalcoatl being a reptilian god that they're under. All of that shit's evil. Their creator gods, Quetzalcoatl and all of that, those are evil spirits that come from Betelgeuse. From what I understand, in the spirit plane, there was a major war that happened, subatomic nuclear war that occurred, that pretty much decimated that entire place, rendered it desolate and, lacking in life. And so does, a lot of the inhabitants are discarnate spirits that are stuck in hell realms. And that's Mexican creator gods. Anyways, with that being said, continuing on, I got to get my shit together, because I'm just tired of this. So anyways, to make a long story short, y'all get instant favor with God, instantly. But, you still get judged and all of that. You still go through the process. And you can make your own heaven and hell. From what I understand, back in my old apartment, there was a woman who lived simultaneously in my apartment, while at the same time I lived there as well, but in the spirit plane, who created kind of like a pocket universe for herself. That's what they call it in the spirit plane, where you where she was reliving the 50s. And she was still in that time period, and that's her heaven. And that's what a Cuban shaman a long time ago was explaining to me. And like I learned during this curse, that pretty much sums up that I believe that Tavares is protecting them people in that August 22nd, 2022 timeline, that Ingrid Hybrid and them. That's something else I just thought about. But anyways, as I learned during this curse, you go into your consciousness when you die. So, with that being said, it's a lot that I learned that I want to share with y'all, but I just, my situation's fucked up to where I can't. So anyways, I took the 5 tablets, and I've been, drowsy ever since, yesterday, but it helped keep my consciousness in and keep it tied together. You know what? I believe psychiatric medicine does the same thing. It'll tie your consciousness, it'll sew up the sutures when your consciousness opens wide. That's usually caused from entities like roach attachments being in your consciousness that causes it to become widened, experience, from times having to stay in hospitals because of, homeless situation, all that. And it widens it. I mean, what it does is it sutures it. It ties it back up so that your consciousness isn't expanding all over the place and therefore susceptible to entities being able to come in and fuck you up. Same thing with iron tablets. You know, they do the same thing, but not as dramatic, and they make you just as tired. But if you take one, you don't get tired, whereas the Adrian, you get tired. So, with that being said, I was trying to get that bitch, that Maria Tavares, who's, you know, again, tied to Santa Muerte and all of that, out of my consciousness all last night. I was working with the Getty. I was working with Baron Samedi. To some degree, his higher self. And I can't stand the way that when I hear this bitch, I can't stand the way she talks. She sounds like an evil-ass, torturous murderer. Like a bitch that gets off on dominating. And like I said, when I got the tarot reading from them people, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that. And again, a good friend of mine was warning me, don't go there, don't, because you already are in a very vulnerable place. So don't do it. You know, just go with your intuition, go with your higher self, which was, you know, like I said at the time, greatly compromised. You know, I've called Oshun, Yemeya. It's just that somehow this bitch works where she can tie herself to your soul consciousness, which is what I'm reduced to, due to another entity attachment, that reduced me down to my soul consciousness, many months back. And so it's easy, and with my consciousness widened, it's easy for evil shit to come in and be able to take advantage and fuck me up. It was this entity by the name of Alex Nascimento. So, anyways, with that being said, it's just been constant psychic attacks, and because I have no spiritual protection from within, you know, the only spiritual protection I had was shit trying to keep me out of that timeline. You know, I even called on the Galactic Federation, the Ashtar Command, they call them, to put me back together. And I'm going to say, at the early start of this curse, I mean, you know, I started getting hit with it when I lived in Miracle Mile. I remember I started seeing like giant cockroaches. Y'all probably, if y'all been following me for quite some time, and by the way, I want to thank a young gentleman online for, you know, for supporting me by, you know, I don't really ask for it, but because the support I need is more spiritual. But thank you, mister. I don't want to say your name because I don't want to put you out there because of all the shit that I got. Thank you for sending me money and for supporting me. I appreciate that. You don't have to do that, but thank you so much. Thank you. But I called on the Ashtar Command to be able to do something about the situation. You know, me and my father both, you know, it killed me to see how my dad was rendered in that timeline, you know, to where he was just, you know, all fucked up. You know, I saw it was at the hands of, I think, either Maria Tavares or the Illuminati or something. I'm not really sure. You know, from being the proud dad and the cop that he was. You know, funny, he wasn't Make America Great Again, I think, but not like me, but, you know, seeing my family, you know, come from being proud people. I'm going to say something right now. Right before that shit happened on August 22nd, 2022, you know, I remember while I was in jail hearing in the spirit plane them getting entrapped, and some Native American guys, Roach from Hell Realm. I think his name was Michael... What's this motherfucker? Michael O'Terrence or Michael Reardon or something, or Bearden. But anyways, to make a long story short, I remember talking with my parents over the phone. You know, they do something where, as part of this curse, they attach to your consciousness, and you're able to simultaneously hear what these other people cursed you are thinking. And so I saw So anyways, to make a long story short, you know, I kept hearing them trying to turn my dad into, you know, look, I'm big on supporting the LGBTQ community, for Jay, as I call him. And so I remember getting the feeling that my parents got either taken out their bodies or possessed. And so when I called my mother no longer sounded like the articulate woman that she usually sounds like. Highly educated, even though I think the most of her education was Southern University in New Orleans. But I got on the phone and she was sounding mad awkward, like a good timey girl, like somebody who drinks. And as part of this curse, they promised that they would, you know, have my parents stuck on alcoholism and prostitution. And I, you know, and sure enough, you know, they were. I even heard, you know, they cored out my dad's eye after he got taken out of his body, Alex Nacimiento, and put in the roach room and was being eaten out by giant roaches. My spirit team was showing me this. But to make a long story short, when I got on the phone, my mother sounded totally different. And not only that, when I inquired about my brother Kristen here, asked me, who's Kristen? My mother is not like that. She don't have a bad memory. She's able to remember shit. So, like I said, on August 22nd, 2022, and now May the 1st, 2024, and it's fucked up because this shit going well into 2025, something happened. Something happened at the hands of two evil-ass motherfuckers. You know, this bitch's higher self, Maria Tavares, on May the 1st, somewhere around that time. Yeah, it was May the 1st, I remember. Because I remember I had to go to AutoZone to get something to be able to wear my rainbow quartz crystal. And then before that, August 22nd, 2022. And on August 21st, 2022, I felt somebody slap somebody's ancestral timelines again. It's supposed to be some girl who soul swapped me. She's supposed to be pregnant with Lil Wayne's kid in that timeline. And Ashley Terrell, an entity attachment of my father from that timeline, was telling me. I keep feeling that fucking Maria Tavares motherfucker torturing me right now as I tell this. Because her and that woman, Ingrid Heiberg, made an agreement to keep my soul, my blessings. I remember she was calling me a nigga and making fun of me trusting her, you know, like I did the other night for letting her in. And she doing a switch swap so she could have access to my soul consciousness, which she stole a lot of. And I felt it. I felt the difference. I almost died. You're talking about something separate. No, it's not. It's part of me. You know, when you get placed in the road trauma, it's like you in the shadow part of yourself. But this girl who soul swapped with me without my permission, you know, I believe you're supposed to get consent for this shit. Her name is Ashley Terrell. Supposed to be pregnant with Lil Wayne's child in that timeline, and they took a lot of my blessings as well, so that basically she got pregnant so she could stay in my body. You know, it's something to do about the genetic composition and makeup, and you know, like with what happened a couple of weeks ago, every time I'm about to get in that timeline, something, I get thwarted. You know, I had an attack. You know, when you're fucked and you have nowhere else to go, what do you do? You know, I was with this guy by the name of Robert Haid. His higher self was fucking with my ass bad. It was in Dana Point, Dirty L. Corniche or something. And so it's just been hell. It's been hell for me. And so, you know, I've just been in hell ever since, in my consciousness and possibly physically. Because from what I understand, when I got soul swapped that night and I was shown by a spirit guide what happened, I had my whole soul taken out. That's what happened with Elisa Lamb. That's why she was doing all that weird shit that night. You know, when I learned this part of this during this curse. She got taken out of her body by some entities and then made to kill herself so that they can keep her stuck in something very similar in the astral plane to room 1408. You know, where she's stuck in a corridor of different mazes of that hotel room in the spirit plane and where she can't find a way out. And that's really fucking scary. So, you know, that's pretty much the situation that I'm in. But I believe I hate to say, given the preponderance of the evidence is physical. And being astral body harvested and energy harvested, you know, like with Kanye West and all of that, you know, that usually happens to somebody that's done gotten soul swapped. So that happened. So with that being said, I'm going to try my best, because I keep having, you know, my third eye astral body harvested by her, that Maria Tavares. Them two people in that August 22nd, 2022 timeline have a lot of my shit. So my spirit team tried to get it from them yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and try to use my third eye to see exactly what's going to happen. Like I say, it's just been hell. And, you know, it almost feels like, you know, there's no point to fucking living. So I'm going to try to find out what's going to happen for today. I see two alternative routes that you could take. And both of them could lead you down a very propitious path. A propitious path to success, but I see barbed wire. Like, there's a lot of trials and tribulations that's concomitant with it. I see you falling into a pit that can sink you and destroy you in an attempt to try to achieve something that you want to accomplish. I'm going to say something right now. Them entities I usually hear around me, especially they call them spam bots, but bird entities and so forth, that's an extension of my consciousness from the body that I lost. They're supposed to be, you know, your body's supposed to be whole. It's supposed to be put together, and it's not. That's why I'm in part hearing all this shit. Because those are parts and pieces of my consciousness that should be rendered whole and should be placed into my body. And they're disembodied right along with me. You know, again, we all have entities living inside of us, entity attachments of our ancestors, even roach attachments at times, depending on the situation. And that's what makes us who we are. So I definitely got disincarnated from my original body, going back to August 22nd, 2022. So let's go ahead and try to continue. I see you making a huge accomplishment and commandeering something that's going to help you out in the long run. You may not see it coming now, but it's going to help you out. I see you climbing up a very steep path that's meant to keep you down and keep you in the state of immobility, I want to say. I see you walking on coal. I see, you know, I'm going to say it right now. I see doors opening up for you, but I see you walking through hell to get there. I see you trudging up towards success as your outcome. And I see you accomplishing something, but you just got to keep your eye on it. Don't let anything divert you or deviate you, just like with... Stop. Don't let anything throw you off your path. Keep your eye on the prize. So that you can be successful. I'm sorry if I seem like I'm zoning out. It's because of this shit. My mind isn't really fully in this world, and I was being fucking with bad last night trying to get this evil ass shit off. I remember one night my ancestors got, you know, in part casted out. My body in that timeline saw where I was at, and they were crying tears. It hurt just to hear that and just to see that. So let me go ahead and throw these cards, and for me to be reduced to living from fucking homeless shelter to homeless shelter. Oh, here are my cards. I was about to say, where the fuck are my tarot cards? You know, that hurts my heart to see how I got shafted and where I could have been in life. You know, I'm just having all of this evil ass shit first. You know, being Savity, Alex Nascimento, Ingrid Hybrid and them. Then to compound it, this wetback bitch at that, you know, her highest self, Maria Tavares, at that shop. And then, you know, supposedly her mama got raped by a white man or something when she was a child. And she's always prides herself on being light-skinned. But, you know, we're going to talk about the highest self. And then all of a sudden the highest self of this Robert Haight motherfucker. Fucking curses upon curses upon curses that's just compounding shit, you know, and it's a problem. So with that being said, let me go ahead and throw these cards. Let me find where my shit is. Later on, try, you know, I know they, especially with my cursed ass, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna try to some more of them cards. Try to do something with my art. I've been sending some of my shit to different galleries. And actually got a response back, but it's all the way in February. That's one thing I learned about the art world. They don't do shit until like way next year and all of that. So you just keep sending stuff out, and hopefully get something. And do something respectable, do something that makes me happy with my life. Because all of my greatness, all of my great things keeps getting funneled to other people, especially this person in that original timeline, and I keep getting just stuck and blocked. I remember, my spirit guide who was putting me back together and trying to put me back into that timeline was showing me that timeline, and it's depressing to see where I'm at. And again, I felt that timeline. I felt the spirit, the energy, the soul consciousness of that person from that timeline and her ancestors. This is no joke. It's not fake. I got soul swapped. I felt Destrehan, Louisiana. This is real. This is very, very real. And I keep getting blocked and blocked within my own body because the motherfuckers that's in charge of putting my shit back together, Baron Samedi and them, especially initially, they weren't all about it. Like when I almost got back into my body, I remember when I lived at the manor. That's where some of my soul pieces of soul consciousness is supposed to be. When I lived at the manor on Pico Boulevard in Santa Monica, when this first started, I tried to get back into my body, and both Alex Nascimento and Baron Samedi, it was a roach attachment of his, blocked me. Both of them blocked me. So, and yeah, I felt it and I saw it. What happened when I tried to jump back? I got soul swapped. The spirit team that's supposed to be my spirit team wasn't working with me. So, that's why I've been asking for help, and that's why I've been getting screwed by strangers who saw what I could have had, saw what I should have, and wanted to block it and detour it. Wow, look at this, what I got here. We got Ace of Pentacles, we got Ace of Cups, but I'm not feeling like that. And then we got the Seven of Cups, but I don't believe it. I'm very skeptical. Then we got Justice. Like I said, I can't live like this. I can't be like this. I'm not supposed to be here. My situation, I'm not a materialistic woman by any means, but my situation should be a lot better, and I shouldn't be going from pillar to post or, at the most desperate and vulnerable, staying with motherfuckers like it's Robert Haight motherfucker here. I don't like doing that. And then being made to feel like you're a toy. You're supposed to be my girlfriend. And you got to do this, and disgusting. That motherfucker has so much white entitlement, Disgusting, just mad disgusting. So anyways, right here we got the Hermit. And we got the Hermit as your obstacle. And I feel that you've taken a respite from things and you're trying to figure out things by going within. But, like in my case, you can't, because you're all compromised from within. So right there we got the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles being in the present position, I believe represents you have a lot of people coming out to help you at this particular, juncture in time. Very, very important help. that's going to keep you from a very serious fucked up situation. That's unfair. So right here we got the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups in the future position, I believe, represents some type of divine justice. It represents divine justice. It represents coming out on top in the situation that's been unfavorable to you. You know, it could be so then we got the High Priestess in the subconscious position. And I feel that with the High Priestess being in the subconscious position, that represents you being in a very favorable, propitious. I feel that it represents sitting pretty. Being in a position that could be advantageous. I feel like you're sitting out and you're looking at stuff and you're thinking to yourself, man, I could have had this, I could have had that. I feel like it connects to you making moves and trying to figure out a major game plan. So right here we got the Seven of Cups. And I feel that with the Seven of Cups being in that position, that represents, that's your goals card, that represents wish fulfillment. And I feel that you're serious about a situation. You've been putting your nose to the grindstone in an attempt to try to covet something, acquire something. I feel that you have stuff coming to you that's supposed to be yours. Covet something that you've long been wanting to be successful at. So right here, for the advice card, we got the Five of Cups. And I feel that that connects with something's going to have to give. But I also feel that you might have to lose something that's not been fully on advantageous for you. So for the energy that percolates all around you, we got the Seven of Swords. And I feel that the help that you got is not going to be propitious to you in the long run. It actually is working against you. And it's not to your favor. You know, like the other night I saw that in another timeline where I would drink a whole lot. The Voodoo Loas were actually being situated there to keep me out that timeline. And I saw that with a lot of my timelines, you know, being stuck in the roach realm. And at some point they came around. You know, I saw that with Marie Laveau. That's one of my ancestors. When she saw what was really going on, you know, she came around to help. And you know, at first she was blocking me from getting back and so forth. And I know about his higher self, but I know Baron Samedi himself wants to get me back. Like I said at the beginning of this, I felt like I had no choice but to seek outside resources to help, because my inner spiritual protection from within wasn't really cracking. It was all about keeping me out that timeline, but rebuilding me, but allowing me to be astral body harvested and energy body harvested. But now the threat is coming from this Maria Tavares as well as Santa Muerte. And Baron Samedi actually pulled me out of her realm. But I need to get back to my body. I need to get back in that timeline. So for your fears and your hopes card, we got the Ten of Pentacles. And I feel that you're looking at family like I have. When I saw the state of my family in that timeline, all in tranquil, like in tranquil spirits and all in fucked up hell realms, man, that shit killed me. And I feel, because of my situation, I feel stuck. To help, you can only do so much. You can use 125 and 1185 hertz to pull people out of hell realms. 156 hertz out of spirit jars. 117 hertz. 1135 hertz to remove spiritual barriers. 3517 hertz. 3571 hertz. Maria Tavares having manipulated me into not being able, her higher self have been manipulating me into not being able to use those frequencies. You can use those two frequencies there to be able to put somebody back together. Now I always get threatened that if I mention something that, will help me be successful, like a frequency, they'll fuck with it. 117 hertz frequency combined with 800 hertz frequency can put somebody back together. So those are really, really good frequencies to know. Energy around me is mad fucking heavy, man. I feel cursed. Even the energy within feels heavy. It's like very strong cursed energy. Hear that Maria Tavares is really, really mad fucking bad. So anyways, right here, for the outcome, we got justice. And I feel that a lot of things are going to be working in your favor. And you're going to have a lot of people looking out for you. You're going to have a lot of support. So with that being said, it's like, because that evil ass bitch, I can't even think shit, because of her and Santa Muerte in my fucking head without them acting on it. And I could feel it physically and fucking with something. But anyways, if you want a more thorough personalized tarot reading, please contact me at ravenbytarot22@yahoo.com. Peace.